Senators will be in their seats. Clerk will call the roll.
Alley, Baumgardner, Billinger, Blasey, Bowers, Clays, Corson, Dietrich, Dahl, Erickson, Fagg, Balscadeau, Francisco, Gossage, Haley, Holland, Holscher, Kirshen, Cluse, Longbine, Masterson, McGinn, Olson, O'Shea, Peck, Peterson, Petty, Pittman, Pyle, Reddy, Reichman, Schallenberger, Steffen, Straub, Sykes, Thompson, Tyson, Ware, Warren, Wilborn.
Senators and guests, please rise and give prayerful attention to our chaplain.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for our lives, for the freedoms we enjoy, for a portion of health and strength. We thank you for our loved ones, for our families, friends, and neighbors. Lord, we even thank you today for our enemies, for our struggles, for our difficulties, for it is through them that you increase our strength, as resistance increases stamina and endurance. Teach us the value of our troubles, as you taught the Apostle Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 through 10. Due to the importance and status of the work we're called to do, you lovingly use our difficulties and pain to keep us humble, to keep us from becoming so proud or conceited that we lose sight of the fact that it's your grace that sustains us, your strength that carries us. For you tell us in John chapter 15, verses 5 through 8, without you, we can't produce anything of real value. So like Paul, who declared, when I am weak, then I am strong. Teach us to be content with our limited abilities, with weaknesses, insults, hardships, and even disasters. Lord, if two negatives equal a positive, then teach us to be optimistic, and when problems prevail, to stay connected to you. Teach us to pray and search until we find the good. I offer this prayer simply as a branch connected to Jesus, the true vine. Amen and amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On point of personal privilege, Chair recognizes the senator from Leavenworth, Senator Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, this is a nation of democracy, of the people, by the people, for the people. And with that, I want to recognize, if you'll stand up in the back row, group of citizens who have chosen to take a year-long rigorous course called Leavenworth Lansing Leadership Course, much like the Kansas Leadership Course, and invest their valuable time. They are leaders from across Lansing and Leavenworth, and they're here today to learn about how we work and how we don't work sometimes as a state government, and it's all part of the process. And I just would like you to all give them a round of applause and recognize this group of fine citizens. And Mr. President, I would be remiss if I didn't point out my lovely wife there, Mayor Pro Tem Holly Pittman, right there in the back. So thank you, Mr. President.
2 Pittmans might be one too many. I don't know. Well, we're so glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Second point of personal privilege, Chair recognizes the Senator from Riley, Senator Reddy.
Thank you, Mr. President. On November 3rd and 4th, 2023, the Junction City High School Junior ROTC Raider team competed in the Co-Ed Challenge Division of the United States Army Cadet Command Raider National Championships at Fort Knox, Kentucky. The competition consisted of 5 events, of which the team won 4 and placed 6th in the event. This year marks the 3rd consecutive national championship for the Raiders as they won the All-Service National Championship in the Co-Ed category in 2021 and the Army Challenge National Championship in the Co-Ed category in 2022. I have been assured that they've been looking forward to a 4th championship in 2024. I yield to another proud senator from our area, Senator Longbine.
Senator from Lyon, Senator Longbine.
Thank you to the senator from Riley. We do have the special guest in the East Gallery today. I would like to introduce Superintendent Reginald Eggleston. I don't believe Jennifer Booth, who's the principal, was able to make it today. We have Lieutenant Colonel Richard Hodgson and Sergeant First Class Ted Eilerts. And then if we could get the members of the winning team to stand. And then I believe we also have members of the competing team with us today. So a big congratulations to them. And I yield back to the senator from Riley.
Senator from Riley, Senator Reddy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We do have a couple of our guests sitting right here. Would you please stand and be recognized also as leadership from the Junior ROTC? We want to welcome all of them here and congratulate them on this outstanding accomplishment. Please stand and recognize their accomplishment this afternoon.
Point of privilege, Chair recognizes the Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Blasey.
Thank you, Mr. President. College of Osteopathic Medicine, I believe, are they in the West Gallery here? All right. Want to make sure we have everybody. We have a lot of people here today. Mr. President, today we are pleased to welcome an exceptional institution in our state, the Kansas College of Osteopathic Medicine, known as KansasCOM. This institution is a shining example of excellence in healthcare education and a true pioneer in serving our communities. KansasCOM has stepped up to meet Kansas's healthcare needs with innovative solutions and a deep commitment to those less served. It's not just a medical school, it's a place where technology and teaching come together to prepare doctors ready to make a difference. As Kansas's first and only osteopathic medical school, KansasCOM trains doctors who are not just skilled, but are also deeply compassionate. They learn to treat patients with a holistic approach. KansasCOM stands out for bringing hands-on learning to its students through partnership with local hospitals. This way, students learn by doing, providing real benefits to our communities from the start. Today, we also celebrate KansasCOM's efforts to bring more healthcare into rural areas, making sure everyone, no matter where they live, has access to quality healthcare. The Kansas Senate is proud to recognize the KansasCOM faculty and its outstanding students here today. We are proud of their dedication to excellence and the role in shaping a healthier future for Kansas. As we celebrate KansasCOM's achievements, let's also recognize our shared commitment in supporting its mission. Here's to KansasCOM's continued success and its impact on our state and beyond. We also have with us KCOM President Dr. Tiffany Masson is with us along with her staff and students here in the West Gallery. I ask the Senate to give them a warm welcome.
Welcome to the Kansas Senate. We're honored to have you. Point of privilege, Chair recognizes Senator from Shawnee, Senator Dietrich.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor today to welcome the candidates for the Kansas Youth of the Year from the Boys and Girls Clubs, and they're sitting over here in our special VIP section. Boys and Girls Clubs provide a safe and positive environment for young people to learn and grow and become productive adults. Clubs focus on underserved communities, helping young people achieve their academic success, develop healthy lifestyles, and build strong character and leadership skills. Clubs are committed to excellence and one of the nation's most trusted and effective youth development organizations. So the Alliance is comprised of 14 local organizations operating over 70 sites in 23 communities, including on military bases in Kansas. Clubs serve youth ages 5 to 18 and deliver out-of-school and summer programs to nearly 11,000 youth annually as registered members. So since 1947, Youth of the Year has been the Boys and Girls Club's premier recognition program, celebrating the achievements of club members. And each year, these youth come here and they compete for the Youth of the Year as exemplary ambassadors for Boys and Girls Club and as a voice for our nation's young people. So candidates go through a year-round recognition program in their local clubs, and then they come to compete for the National Youth of the Year. With us today are the candidates for the Kansas Youth of the Year competition. As I announce your name, would you stand up so we can see you? So our very first person is our student, youth, Jaden Dunham. Jaden's a senior at Manhattan High School. He's been a member of the Boys and Girls Club for 9 years. Upon completing high school, Jaden plans to study phlebotomy at Kansas State University. Justice Tisdale, would you stand up, Justice? Justice is a 9th grader at Wichita Heights High School. He's been attending the Boys and Girls Club of South Central Kansas for 8 years. He hopes to study criminal justice at Wichita State University. LaRon Williams. LaRon's a senior at Lawrence Free State High School, representing the Boys and Girls Clubs of Lawrence. He's attended the program for 5 years. LaRon has an interest in pursuing writing as a career after he graduates high school. Valerie Vasquez. Valerie's a 10th grader at Topeka West High School. She's attended the program for 5 years, representing the Boys and Girls Clubs of Topeka. She's from Puerto Rico and did a wonderful job last night telling a little bit about herself. Her goal is to become a computer or software engineer. Zion Burgess. Zion's he's a senior, attending Hutchinson High School. He's been a club member for 6 years. He plans to major in pre-dentistry and orthodontics and will attend Bethel College and then the University of Missouri in Kansas City. Sunday McGowan. Sunday's a high school senior at Derby High School who's attended club programs for 3 years at McConnell Air Force Base. Sunday aspires to attend Spelman University and become a business owner and entrepreneur. And our final Youth of the Year I'd like to introduce to you is Raina Clushy. You've got a great last name. Raina is a high school senior at Leavenworth High School who's attended club programs for 6 years at Fort Leavenworth's youth programs. Raina plans to major in nursing at Prairie View A&M University in Texas. So Joyce Glasscock is also with them today. Joyce is the director of Kansas Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs. So last night we had a dinner, many of us were there, and we found out who the Boys and Girls Club, I covered up the name, we don't want to do that, who the Boys and Girls Club Youth of the Year is, and this year it's Zion Burgess, Zion wave to us, of Hutchinson, and Sunday McGowan will hold. Congratulations, Zion. And then Sunday McGowan is the McConnell Air Force Base in Derby, Kansas Military Youth of the Year. So congratulations to our Boys and Girls Club winners.
You make us all proud. Thank you for joining us here. Final privilege, Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Blasey.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's me again. Today we have a very special guest with us here in the VIP gallery. Today we honor an icon of resilience and determination, a symbol of the spirit of women during a time of great challenge, Rosie the Riveter. Rosie is not just one woman, but a representation of all women who stepped up into roles that were once thought to be beyond their reach. However, one of these Rosies is Connie Palacios, who is a celebrity in my community. Please stand, Connie, if you may. In 1944, a 19-year-old began working at the Boeing Company. She would take the bus daily from Newton, Kansas to South Wichita and began her work as a riveter on the highly classified project. This project was the B-29 Superfortress. Connie would work for 2 years with Boeing before going on to a successful career as a hairdresser, wife, and mother. When Doc was returned to Wichita, Connie was ready to begin restoration on the plane she had originally worked on 60 years prior. Connie now spends 1 day a week at the B-29 Dock hangar, welcoming visitors, signing autographs, and telling her story. At age 99, Connie is still as active as ever. Because during World War II, when the men were called to battle, it was the Rosies of the world who rose to the occasion. They donned their bandanas, rolled up their sleeves, and riveted the very war machines that helped secure our nation to victory. They worked tirelessly, not just riveters, but as welders, as electricians, and more. They are the embodiment of what the phrase, "we can do it." Rosie the River is more than a culture icon. She is a beacon of change. She challenged the status quo, broke barriers, and paved the way for future generations of women to dream bigger, reach higher, and achieve greater. We owe a debt of gratitude to Rosies like Connie and the countless women she represents for their courage, their hard work, and for their profound impact on the fabric of our society. So I ask the Senate to say thank you, Connie, for your service, your strength, and your inspiration to all Kansans.
Thank you for being here, Connie. It's a privilege to have you with us today. Hope we get some business done now. Please note references to bills on page 1 of the calendar. Communications from state officers, clerk will read.
Dear Senator Alley, pursuant to KSA 744303, I am reappointing Richard Samaniego as Chair of the Crime Victims Compensation Board. Sincerely, Chris Kobach, Attorney General.
This constitutes introduction of that appointment previously read. This time I'm referring the appointment of Richard Samaniego to the Committee on Judiciary. Messages from the House. The clerk will read.
The House announced the appointment of Representatives Waymaster, Hoffman, and Helgerson to replace Representatives Sutton, Penn, and Neighbor as conferees on Senate Bill 28. Announcing passage of House Bill 2273, House Bill 2800, House Bill 2816. Announcing passage of Senate Bill 399. The House adopts the Conference Committee report to agree to disagree on House Senate Bill 233 and has appointed Representatives Landwehr, Epley, and S. Ruiz as second conferees on part of this House. The House accedes to the request of the Senate for a conference on House Senate Bill 233 and has appointed Representatives Landwehr, Epley, and S. Ruiz as conferees on part of the House. The House accedes to the request of the Senate for a conference on SB 340 and has appointed Representatives Sutton, Clifford, and Neighbor as conferees on part of House. House Bill 2273, an act making and concerning appropriations for the fiscal years ending June 30th, 2024, June 30th, 2025, and June 30th, 2026 for state agencies. House Bill 2800, an act concerning conservation districts. House Bill 2816, an act concerning agriculture.
Senate, this is a busy day at the Capitol with guests. We're going to stand at ease for just a minute, and we have a few more guests to come in. We have 3 resolutions yet to go.
I'll take the top.
Senate, we're going to return to order. And we have some scheduling conflicts that we are going to advance to final action. So for those guests that are here, we still vote old school by voice, so we just need relative quiet as we do this. So as we continue to move people around, we're going to move to final action. We're now ready for final action, and on this roll call, we will take the following. The bills on page 3 and 4. House Bill 2481, House Bill 2498, House Bill 2629, House Bill 2745, House Bill 2760, and House Bill 2790. Clerk will read the titles.
House Bill 2481, an act concerning roads and highways. House Bill 2498, an act concerning motor vehicles. House Bill 2629, an act concerning children and minors. House Bill 2745, an act concerning occupational licensing. House Bill 2760, an act concerning veterans and military. House Bill 2790, an act concerning labor and employment.
Clerk will call the roll.
Alley. Baumgartner.
Aye.
Bellinger. Blasey. Bowers. Clays. Corson. Dietrich. Dahl. Erickson. Fag. Voscadeau. Francisco. Gossage. Haley. Holland. Holscher. Kirshen. Cluse. Longbine. Masterson. McGinn. Olson. O'Shea. Peck. Peterson. Petty. Pittman. Pyle. Reddy. Reichman. Schallenberger. Steffen. Straub. Sykes. Thompson. Tyson. Ware. Warren. Wilborn.
Has every senator had an opportunity to vote? Does any senator wish to explain their votes? Anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. Forty having voted in favor and none opposed to the passage of House Bill 2481, House Bill 2498, House Bill 2629, House Bill 2745, and House Bill 2760. 39 having voted in favor and none opposed to the passage of House Bill 2790. These measures having reached their constitutional majority are hereby declared passed. We'll now return to introduction of original motions and Senate resolutions. The clerk will read.
Senate Resolution 1748 by Senators Petty, Haley, and Pittman. A resolution congratulating Kansas City, Kansas Community College on its 100th anniversary of serving the educational needs of Wyandotte County and the broader Kansas City region.
Chair recognizes the senator from Wyandotte, Senator Petty.
Thank you. Would the reader read, please?
Whereas the rich history of Kansas City, Kansas Community College, KCK-CC, began in 1923 when it offered its first classes as part of the Kansas City, Kansas School District in downtown Kansas City, Kansas. And whereas in 1972, KCK-CC expanded its reach by establishing a permanent location on State Avenue, providing a dedicated space for its growing academic programs. And whereas KCK-CC further strengthened its commitment to career and technical education through its 2008 merger with the Area Vocational Technical School, offering students a wider range of skills, training opportunities, and whereas KCK-CC commitment to expanding its reach is further demonstrated by its recent land acquisition in Leavenworth County, paving the way for a new educational facility. And whereas KCK-CC also continues to be a leader in innovative educational models, exemplified by its ongoing construction of the Kansas City, Kansas Community Education, Health, and Wellness Center in downtown Kansas City, Kansas, And whereas KCC consistently serves a diverse student body of over 8,000 students annually, 51% of which being from Wyandotte County. And whereas KCC provides a significant positive impact and boosts student success and economic growth, whereas in 2022 alone, Kansas' total educational investment in KCC of $115.5 million returned $764.9 million in new income, which supports 11,633 jobs in the region. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the State of Kansas that we congratulate Kansas City, Kansas Community College, KCC, on its 100th anniversary. And be it further resolved that we commend KCC for its unwavering dedication to providing quality, accessible education and fostering a skilled workforce for the Kansas City region. And be it further resolved that we applaud KCC's leadership in creating innovative educational models and its commitment to serving a diverse student population, including its growing Hispanic student body. And be it further resolved that we extend our best wishes for continued success to KCC as it embarks on its next chapter of service and innovation.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Petty.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my privilege today to recognize Kansas City, Kansas Community College on reaching the century mark, having served the higher education needs of Wyandotte County and the Kansas City, Kansas area for 100 years. Today, we have with us, and I'd like for you to stand as I say your names, we have Dr. Greg Mosier, who is the president of Kansas City, Kansas Community College. We also have with us Dr. Scott Balog, who's the executive vice president of Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and Mr. Brad Isnar, who is the chair of the Board of Trustees of Kansas City, Kansas Community College. As you heard, starting as part of the Kansas City, Kansas School District in downtown Kansas City, Kansas in 1972, it has continued to expand, and I mentioned to the president, in fact, that I actually took swimming lessons there, but it's expanded to expand its opportunities for students by keeping pace with academic programs as well as vocational and technical training. And as of today, the college is expanding its footprint to include a new campus health facility in downtown Kansas City, Kansas, and looking towards the future development of its recently acquired land in Leavenworth County. You also heard that the school has supports, in this past year, supports 11,633 jobs in my region of the state. And with that, I yield to the senator from Leavenworth, Senator Pittman.
Senator from Leavenworth, Senator Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. President. With a Senate district that spans both Wyandotte and Leavenworth County, I couldn't be more proud to recognize KCC today and their commitment to the region as they have invested in the new campus in the Leavenworth area. It's really phenomenal to see you're providing that dream and that framework for not only the Wyandotte folks, but for Leavenworth, Lansing, and Basehor communities, so we can have plenty more Rosie the Riveters and all the other folks that you help get trained up in their jobs and fulfill their personal mission. So thank you for that. And with that, Mr. President, I yield to the other senator from Wyandotte, Senator Haley.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Haley.
Mr. President, thank you, and I thank Senator from Leavenworth and the other senator from Wyandotte for joining us in this resolution, of which we're all exceptionally proud. As has been mentioned in the resolution, as mentioned now, the Kansas City, Kansas Community College is indeed a jewel for academic attainment and excellence that I'm proud to say that the current campus and then the expanded campus, both found inside the 4th Senate District in Wyandotte County. But to Dr. Mosier and the head of the trustee board, Mr. Isnar, and to the team that's here, to know how exceptionally proud we are of you and of this centennial, 100 years of educating, providing a bridge for many students in a community college environment in Wyandotte County and beyond. It bears mentioning that many of our students, or many of the students, often come from beyond the immediacy of Wyandotte County of Kansas City, Kansas, and that we are providing a level of excellence in academic attainment and in trade attainment. We have a tech center as well to provide for those students to have in our region and beyond. I am pleased to see this resolution come forth. We are pleased to celebrate 100 years of academia. They're in Wyandotte County, they're in the 4th Senate District and beyond. And thank you again for letting me add our congratulations to you. And with that, Mr. President, I would yield back to the other senator from Wyandotte, the gentlelady, Senator Petty.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Petty.
Thank you, Senator. So I'm so proud to have this opportunity today. I am personally connected to Kansas City, Kansas Community College. I actually had the opportunity to teach as an adjunct educator there for, I think it was 3 or 4 semesters, even on, at that time, also what was the Leavenworth campus at that time. I have also been honored by the community college to be part of their Hall of Fame inductee in 2022. But probably the biggest thing is that my daughter, Alicia, she got her associate degree at Kansas City, Kansas Community College and was involved in sports there before she moved on to Benedictine College to complete her bachelor's degree, as well as 3 of my siblings attended Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and 2 of my sisters have served as educators in the past and in the present at Kansas City, Kansas Community College. And then we also had 2 young women live with us for a year who were from Lithuania, who were here and attending Kansas City, Kansas Community College and playing basketball. And they went on to higher education one in Georgia and one in Texas before they got their degrees here in the United States. So Kansas City, Kansas has been an important part of my personal family and my children's lives as well. And it has served my family and many families in Wyandotte County. And it's also been that place for first-generation students. And I know that the college continues to work to help to provide that starting foot into higher education for students, many from my region of the state, and that's why my community has that responsibility to provide that taxing responsibility to take care of our community college. So I want to extend to Kansas City, Kansas a heartfelt thank you for continuing to fulfill the mission to inspire individuals and enrich our community one student at a time. Wyandotte County and the greater Kansas City area is a better place to live, work, and thrive because of Kansas City, Kansas. And I know they've reached the 100-year mark, and that's just the beginning, as you heard about the expansions that are going on to provide education for the next 100 years for students in our part of the state. And so with that, I move an emergency be declared, the rules suspended, and Senate Resolution 1748 be adopted by voice vote.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Clerk will read.
Senate Resolution 1747 by Senators Faust, Godot, and Blasey. A resolution recognizing Storytime Village, Inc. for its work in giving young Kansas children the opportunity for a better future through its literacy programs.
Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Faust, Godot.
Thank you, Mr. President. If the reader would read, please.
A resolution recognizing Storytime Village for its work in giving young Kansas children the opportunity for a better future through its literacy programs. Whereas, according to the Annie E. Casey Foundation, children who are proficient in reading by the end of 3rd grade are more likely to graduate from high school and be economically successful in adulthood. And whereas many underserved populations in Kansas are lacking the quality literacy skills essential for future success in school and life. And whereas Storytime, Inc., under the leadership of founder and CEO Priska Barnes has been working to provide literacy programs for children since 2009. And whereas in 2024, Storytime Village, Inc. celebrated its 15th anniversary, honoring its history of helping Kansas children, beginning at birth through age 8, thrive through partnerships that provide early childhood development, family engagement involving reading, access to books, advocacy and awareness. And whereas supported by parents and the help of many dedicated volunteers, Storytime Village, Inc. inspires children, regardless of their socioeconomic background, race, or gender, to read by providing them with free books and literacy resources. And whereas March 20th, 2024 is designated as the 7th annual Literacy Day at the Capitol, which will address the literacy achievement gap in the state of Kansas by focusing on early literacy and mobilizing high school students to raise their voice through meetings with legislators, panel discussions, and an advocacy workshop with the theme, The Right to Read, Helping Our Youngest Thrive Through Literacy. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the state of Kansas that we recognize Storytime, Inc. for its work in giving young Kansas children the opportunity for a better future through its literacy programs.
Senator from Sedgwick.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I yield to the gentleman from Sedgwick, Senator Blasey.
Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Blasey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we all know here in the Senate that early childhood literacy is the foundation for lifelong learning. And from birth through grade school, children develop essential skills that pave the way for reading and writing. It's about more than just words. It's about curiosity and communication and the love for learning. Storytime Village empowers our little ones with the tools they need to explore, ask questions, and discover the world through books and language. So I'm thrilled to join my colleague from Sedgwick, Senator Fasquedo, in recognizing Storytime and Priska Barnes for their great contribution to our community and to our state. With that, Mr. President, I'll yield back to the senator from Sedgwick.
Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Fasquedo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, it's indeed an honor to acknowledge Dr. Priska Barnes, Storytime Village, Literacy Day here at the Capitol. And Mr. President, we have some of Storytime Village members there. Raise your hands, guys. Mr. President, years ago, with Governor Brownback even, we talked about we wanted children to read to learn, not have to learn to read. And we want them doing that before they enter 4th grade. And so along with Governor Kelly, Priska Barnes, Dr. Barnes, has continued the advocacy for literacy for all Kansas children. I am delighted to say that in Wichita, she will have Storytime Village, a center where she will connect with the Wichita Workforce Center and others to help all Kansas children be efficiently reading by 4th grade. Again, I tell this story every time now, Dr. Barnes, for 7 years, is that one day in Wichita, I opened up the Wichita Eagle newspaper, and on the front of it was this beautiful young lady, and she had a book, and she was reading to children, and she had puppets, and the whole bit, and I thought, wow, who is this lady? And her vision has finally come true with your Storytime Village Center in Wichita, Kansas, and we just want to, we acknowledge educators here on the Senate floor all the time, and so those educators, they won't have to work so hard, Dr. Barnes, with your work that you'll do to help those children be able to learn and be efficient as they enter kindergarten or homeschooling or whatever it would be. And I just have to say, my colleague who sponsored the legislation, I was at a movie the other night, last couple of weeks ago, with his 2 sons, and they were climbing all over him. And then they came and sit by me, Mr. President, and they were just nice as can be. And so, but we are impressionable for those young ones, and you've set a great example, Dr. Priska Barnes. And again, Mr. President, I am honored to have a few people in our VIP section, and I will read their names. Dr. Priska Barnes, if you would stand, please. We also have Chantel Grissom, if you would stand. We have Lily Jackson, if you would stand. Tabitha Brotherton, if you would stand. And then we have Amy Williams in the audience. We have Layla Chris. We have, say your name, honey. Thank you. And we have Probe Sims. Okay, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. LaMajor Broadus. And Mario Caleb Barnes, Dr. Barnes, his brother. And did your mother, Sandra Barnes, travel with you? Well, again, we honor the work that you're doing. And Mr. President, if my colleagues would stand and give them a round of applause, we'd appreciate it. And with that, Mr. President, I move an emergency be declared, the rules suspended, and Senate Resolution 1747 be adopted by voice vote.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And by the way, thank you for what you guys do. My shop down at Wichita State works with these guys, and they're tremendous. Love what they do. As a matter of fact, just honored one of my employees with the Shine Award 2024, so thank you for that. So really, all of you that are involved and give your time and effort, appreciate what you do. Thank you for being here. All right, clerk will read.
Senate Resolution number 1749 by Senators Haley and Vauss-Godot. A resolution supporting the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce and the First Nations Leadership Development Trade Mission to Kansas.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Haley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would ask if, please, the reader might read Resolution 1749.
Whereas the United States and Australia have shared interest in ensuring their trade and investment agenda delivers inclusive economic growth and benefits for everyone, and whereas both nations are committed to work together in genuine partnership with Indigenous businesses and stakeholders in the United States and Australia and grow opportunities for Indigenous peoples to enjoy the economic prosperity created by their two-way trade and investment. And whereas both nations have welcomed the opportunities that will be created by the announcement of a new United States funding, which will work with Australian government programs to support ongoing dialogue, knowledge sharing, and increased business opportunities for Indigenous people in the months and years ahead. And whereas Kennewaw means exchange in the Kainai language, and the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce is the lead body representing certified Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander businesses in Victoria. And whereas the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce is a charity established with the purpose of advancing Victorian Aboriginal businesses to actively participate and excel in both the national and the international economy. And whereas the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce's focus is on changing Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders' lives through a strength-based model of business ownership and participation in the global economy. And whereas the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce currently represents over 300 member businesses across numerous industries, more than 150 Tier 1 corporate partners, global alliance partners, and thousands of supporters that directly contribute to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander business development by increasing employment and ensuring better health outcomes. And whereas each year the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce hosts the Victorian Aboriginal Business Awards. In 2023, the awards included over 800 attendees. It is looking forward to an even larger event in 2024. Other Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce events include the Deadly in Melbourne First Nations Business Expo. And whereas in the spirit of reconciliation and moving forward in unity, it is important that there is a meeting place for First Nations Australians, American Indians, New Australians, and Global Alliance friends to come together and share both the United States and Australia's past and future. And whereas marking a milestone in the history of Australia, the Kennewaw Chamber of Commerce Victoria Ltd. has led the largest First Nations leadership development trade mission to America through its mission to the great state of Kansas, which seeks to establish new trade routes, collaborations, and strengthen trade between the two nations. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the state of Kansas that Kansas supports the Kennewick Chamber of Commerce and the First Nations Leadership Development and Trade Mission to Kansas, and be it further resolved that we affirm that the Kennewick Chamber of Commerce is the meeting place for global First Nations business in Victoria.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Haley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm personally elevated to sponsor, along with Senator Sedgwick, Senator Falscadeau, the resolution which we've just heard, that's supporting the Kennewick Chamber of Commerce and the First Nations Leadership Development Trade Mission to our state. As we just heard, as was read, this is a unique, potentially unprecedented trade mission that has come to our state, having those who are working toward fostering better ties between indigenous peoples of Australia and with Kansas and, yes, Missouri in this event is historic. And to host this here today is something that I'm particularly proud of our being in a position to do, and to welcome those who are joining us here, and to say that we hope that this will be an opportunity to foster stronger relationship between indigenous peoples of our area and trade opportunities between our area and Australia. Let me say, if I might, too, Mr. President, that this is historic. I don't know that it has happened very much, if ever, before, certainly not in my 30 years in the legislature, that we have seen this exchange coming back. And I'll probably speak a little bit more to that, just a little bit when I close. But this would not be the resolution it is, nor would the commemoration be in any way complete if we did not have some words of insight and wisdom shared with us on this occasion by the gentlelady from Sedgwick, my seatmate, Senator Falscadeau, if I might yield at this time to her.
Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Falscadeau.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to join this resolution with the gentleman from Wyandotte, Senator Haley. It's also an honor to this resolution. My mentor, my senator at one time, he sat right here. First, I just want to say, give a round of applause to Senator Donald Betts. He's right here behind you. Mr. President, so he and I came in at the same time. I was over in the House, and he was the senator who sit right here in this seat for Senate District 29. Mr. President, you know, he was such a great campaigner until when I got to the polls, I started to vote for him. But you know, so he did beat me in the House race, and then he went into the House, and then he came to the Senate, and then he endorsed me for the Senate seat. I am honored. His mother is here. If you would please stand, Ms. Charmaine Betts. And Mr. President, I think you and I were over in the House of Representatives, and we were sitting over there one night, and we heard that it was this young senator on the Senate floor. Just, you know, he had everybody captivated, and the media was all here. We all walked over here from the rotunda to hear this young senator at this time talk about rehabilitation as opposed to incarceration, the original Senate Bill 123. and we appreciate you for that. We have remained friends, and he has supported me, although, Mr. President, as I shared, he called me at 5 a.m. And I said, Betts, did you forget about the time difference in Australia? And so, but I appreciate you and so glad that you are here. And then as closing, as my senator next to me will say, so he ran for Congress and his wife was from Australia. And so the plan was if he won, they would go on to DC. And if he didn't, they would go to Australia. But I'm glad you're doing great things there and you're still working for Kansans. And I honor you and appreciate and congratulate you too on your law degree that you've received. Senator Donald Betts, thank you so much for joining us in the Senate chamber. Mr. President, I yield back to this gentleman from Wyandotte.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Haley.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I thank Senator Falscadeau from Wichita, who, as she has shared, is the successor in the 29th District of Wichita to the Honorable Senator, once a senator, always a senator, Donald Betts. Senator Falscadeau actually made many of the points that I wanted to welcome him back home. From looking back, you know, too often when we come through this chamber, too often those of us who serve in this capacity, frankly, once we're gone, we don't come back. We don't look back to it. I have not seen many who come back even perhaps to visit. Senator Betts has underscored what a word called Sankofa. And Sankofa is a tradition, African tradition of looking back. It's symbolized by a large bird that looks back over its shoulder to see where it has been and what history has been there, what it can learn from its history, where it's been along the way, and how can we grow from that. He has epitomized that. He's gone to Australia, as Senator Falscadeau has reminded us. He did leave us and our shores, but he enshrined inside an understanding and appreciation of the power and the ability that people of Kansas have in this chamber where he served. And I want to take just a moment of personal privilege to say, I hope we can all probably learn from that we will look at what we gather here today and do what uniquely Donald Betts, Senator Betts has done to draw from this experience of being in the Senate, of being in the legislature, to see how it might marry with other peoples and other places that we meet, to make a stronger union, to make us all enhanced in our social and economic, in our world community, just as we do at home. I appreciate that. I mean, he has been my teacher when he was my seatmate, although I couldn't be more prouder of Donald Betts as if he were my biological son. I've sat with this and learned so much from him. He, in many ways, mentored me during my time here, as did his predecessor, Rip Gooch, Senator Gooch. In fact, the 29th District, they do a pretty good job. There's Gooch and now Betts and now Falscadeau. I mean, they've raised the bar high for what service should look like in the Senate. But that he would make history with this, spearheading this event and coming here, that he would be here and with his mother, who was here with us, Charmaine Betts. Charmaine, in fact, they're like family to me. Charmaine made this necktie for me. I don't know if you remember, you made this necktie and gave it to me, actually, and I thought I'd wear it today. They're like family to me. And that he would come back here, and we genuinely welcome this delegation. We welcome you as family to the Senate, to Senator Betts' chamber. We welcome you and Godspeed in your mission to have kindred spirits tied, economic development forged, and moving forward as indigenous people, as people in general who strive to make a better way. Godspeed and good luck to this delegation. And so, Mr. President and fellow members, drawing again from this example, I hope we too will go forth from this place and do some strong things and remember to come back home. You'll all still be senators. Once a senator, always a senator, to come back home as unprecedented, I think, but now shown Senator Betts has done. That having been said, I'd like to introduce a few people that are with us today, if I might. Mr. President, we have seen, or we know Senator Betts, who is, of course, being congratulated by some of his many throng. But if you'll stand when your name is known, Jenny Aqua, Jane Titums, Karen Millard, am I saying that correctly? Okay. Trent Brickle, Lawrence Moser, David Parkins, Denny Francisco, any relation? Chris Elstoft, who is the Australian Consul General. Where's Chris? Australian Consul General. Brian Carnahan, Ambassador Justice Mohammed, Ambassador. Jen Tomasic, and Chelsea Harris. And last but not least, Ms. Charmaine Betts. Welcome, sincerely, and welcome very much to this country, and Godspeed. And Mr. President and colleagues, if you would join me, please, in welcoming this delegation from Australia with Indigenous people. Mr. President, thank you, and thank you, members. Move an emergency be declared and the rules suspended and Senate Resolution 1749 be adopted by a voice vote.
We've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. I think you all easily win the prize of having traveled the farthest to be with us today. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for spending time with us in the Capitol. We really enjoyed having you here and getting to sample some of your products too. That was a lot of fun. So thank you very much. And Dawn, welcome back. Weren't you were in your mid-20s when you were in here, right? You were at the time the youngest senator, correct? Yeah. So it's been, we don't even have any in their 20s anymore. Isn't that right, Senator from Sedgwick? So your brain's shrinking. All right, back to business. Reports of standing committees. Clerk will read.
Mr. President, the Committee on Public Health and Welfare recommends HB 2484 as amended by House Committee be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Public Health and Welfare recommends HB 2547 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Mr. President, the Committee on Public Health and Welfare recommends HB 2453 be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources recommends HB 2543 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Mr. President, the Committee on Federal and State Affairs recommends HB 2056 be amended by substituting with a new bill to be designated as Senate substitute for House Bill number 2056 and the substitute bill be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Public Health and Welfare recommends HB 2578 be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Public Health and Welfare recommends HB 2754 be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Education recommends HB 2646 be amended by substituting with a new bill to be designated as Senate substitute for House Bill 2646 and the substitute bill be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Judiciary recommends HB 2741 be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Agriculture and Natural Resources recommends HB 2477 be amended and the bill be passed as amended. Mr. President, the Committee on Judiciary recommends HB 2549 be passed. Mr. President, the Committee on Judiciary recommends HB 2632 be passed, and because the committee is of the opinion that the bill is of a non-controversial nature, be placed on the consent calendar. Mr. President, the Committee on Commerce recommends substitute for HB 2570 and the bill be passed as amended.
Introduction of original motions and Senate resolutions. Clerk will read.
Pursuant to Senate Rule 11, I make the motion that Senate Bill 286 be removed from the committee and placed on general orders. Senate Bill 286 was referred to Fed and State Committee on March 3rd, 2023, over a year ago, where it has languished. Senate Bill 286 is a bill critical to the health, welfare, and well-being and the pursuit of happiness in our Kansas citizenry. Senator Mark B. Steffen, MD.
The motion is in order. It will hold over for one day, and the Senate will vote on this tomorrow. On an agree to disagree, the chair recognizes Senator from Johnson, Senator Gossage.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the Senate adopt the Conference Committee report on SB 233 to agree to disagree and request the new Conference Committee be appointed.
For the motion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. The second conference on part of the Senate. Chair appoints Senator from Johnson, Senator Gossage, Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Erickson, and Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Petty. This time I'm withdrawing HB 2646 from the calendar under the heading of General Orders, jointly referring to the Committee on Ways and Means and the Committee on Financial Institutions and Insurance. Are there announcements before we adjourn? Senator from Lynn, Senator Tyson.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Tax Committee will have the hearing on Senate Bill 337 tomorrow as scheduled, and we will also have the hearing on 536. Thank you.
Further announcements? Senator from Leavenworth, Senator Pittman.
Mr. President, not an announcement. I just want to thank the body today. I think it was a lot of resolutions, and I think everybody really paid attention to what was going on. And I know for my resolution, I really appreciate it. So I just want to thank the body.
Senator from Sedgwick, Senator McGinn, are you seeking a record? Okay. Seeing no further announcements, the chair recognizes the Majority Leader from Cali, Senator Alley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate adjourn until 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 21st, 2024.
For the motion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Senate's adjourned.